What up guys, Synapse here coming to you from Medellin, Colombia, and it is a beautiful city, a beautiful world, and there are some amazing women here that I highly recommend you come check it out. It's a great place. I'll be here for a little bit longer, and then I'm heading back to Japan where I will be running another immersion in spring as well as boot camp, so get in on that. If you guys have been watching my videos, if you like my stuff, you want to increase your success with women, check out immersion. All right, now what I want to talk about today is the biggest arguments against pickup, or the things that I hear, the criticisms that I hear the most. You know, whether it's people who are in my friend circle, whether it's people online, whether it's people on YouTube. And you know, to be fair, most of the people who hate on game or pickup are people who will never ever say it to my face. I've never, you know, since putting my face out on YouTube, I thought I would get, you know, a bunch of haters coming up to me in the streets in Japan being like, "You scum, you horrible person," but it hasn't happened, not even once, not even a single time. So, you know, people who are haters in general, right, who spend their time watching videos of something that theoretically doesn't interest them and then commenting some mean shit, right? Those are not people who are successful at life, right? They're people who are focused on tearing other people down, focused on negativity, right? And so, of course, you know, they're not gonna be the most psychologically healthy, positive people in the world, all right? By and large, when I meet successful people, they might say, you know, that's not really for me, but it's pretty cool that you can do that, right? That's about the extent of the, you know, the negativity that I get from people in person, right? But over the internet, everybody's a keyboard warrior, right? And some of the arguments that are the most common, right, I'm gonna break down some of them in this video, as well as go over some of my own responses to those, okay? First one, maybe the single most common one, is it's harassment. You're harassing these women on the street. Stop bothering them, right? And it's kind of funny, right? You know, it does make sense. Like, you can kind of wrap your mind around it. Yeah, you are stopping, you're interrupting somebody's day, right? But the only way that the premise of this argument works, the fact that it's harassment, is if you have nothing to offer, number one, right? Or you're trying to leech something from the girl, which is another, again, inherent belief that a lot of people have and society likes to tell you is true, right? So you have no value to offer her. This is a one-way transaction, right? She might give it to you if you bother her enough, right? So the other thing is, right, is that you're only able to talk to somebody in public, or you should only talk to someone in public if you have a legitimate reason, all right? Doesn't make any sense, but let me break it down. So let's say you're lost, you're really just lost trying to find the train station, right? You might stop somebody, "Hey, stop, you know, I'm trying to find the train station," right? And I think very few people would be like, "Stop harassing those people," right? Because you have a legitimate reason to do so, right? Or, you know, maybe let's say a busker, right? Somebody who's on the street playing music, right? You might not like the kind of music they're playing, but you're like, you know, they're providing value to the community. They're playing music. It's nice. You know, some people might like it, right? Okay. All of the people, the social economy, the way that public spaces work is, look, if you're not being aggressive or violent, it's pretty much all good, right? Now, do I have empathy for women who are trying to go about their day and get, you know, can't really do anything without guys talking to them? Of course I do, right? But it's easy, right, when you watch guys the way they do it, right? So, you know, there's a video a few years back that was making the rounds about New York and catcalling, and I think this is a perfect example of what the line is and what's better or worse, you know, when you're picking up a girl. So in the video about catcalling, which there's a bunch of things that were kind of sketchy about the video, and it seemed maybe like, I don't know, other people have done it and didn't get catcalled at all, so we'll see. But essentially in the video, right, the girl walks around through the streets of New York for, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and actually might be longer, but a bunch of dudes just talk to her. But most of what they're doing is they're watching her walk by and they're being like, "Hey baby," or like whistling, whatever, right? Catcalling to her, right? And this is the difference, right? I want to explain the difference here between catcalling, or just, it's essentially just a pot shot. It's just like being like very low effort, very low sincerity. Like, these guys don't even really think the girl's gonna turn around and like give them their phone number or something, right? They're just doing it because like it's just like an impulse, like a knee-jerk reaction. They see something pretty, they say something, right? Okay, it's not the best behavior ever, right? But right, that's why game, that's why pickup is so powerful and important, is because it's moving away from that. It's saying, look, we recognize that guys are interested in girls, especially when they're beautiful. We recognize that they might say something to them, right? Let's find a better way to approach them, a better way to talk to them, so that they don't feel, one, scared for their life, right? That this guy might be a killer or a rapist or something, right? So they, they feel comfortable, they feel interested, they feel respected, loved, attracted, right? All of these things are what a good approach teaches, okay? So it's not like catcalling, it's not like harassment, it's different, right? If you go up to someone with sincere intentions, and that's kind of deep in your heart, right? It's kind of like coming from a deep place. Look, if you go up to somebody, you say, hey, look, your vibe. I'm not saying you need to actually verbally say this, although you could. If you go up to them, you say, hey, look, like I'm interested in you. What is there about you? Here's something about me. Let's share this little moment here, have a little brief conversation. There's no harm in that, right? And you can argue with me all day if you want, but there is literally no harm in going up to somebody you are curious about, interested in, asking for a little bit of their time, just to see if there's any affinity, if there's any connection, right? Got birds going crazy up here. Now, think about from the other perspective. What if like the society or the world or governments started illegalizing communication in public? Can you imagine like what a tyrannical and scary world that would be? You literally are not allowed to talk to people in public, right? It's a crime, right? It's absurd, right? If you think about it. And it's a tyrannical clamp down on what should be freedom, right? Is freedom of expression. Of course, right? And this applies, to myself as well. If I see some dude who's clearly not leaving a girl alone and like grabbing her and pulling her, I'll go up and say something, right? Because that fucks everything up for all of us, right? But as long as the guy is going up, being respectful, not like overly, not grabbing or being aggressive or anything, or being verbally abusive or anything like that, no harm, no foul. All right. So that's the first one, that it's harassment, right? Okay. Number two, you just can't get laid in your own country, and that's why you're going to Japan, right? Or that's why you're in Asia, right? Which is really funny. It's a really funny point if you think about it. It's kind of actually a bit racist, right? I mean, like, if you think about it, you're implying that women in Asia are easy to manipulate or have worse judgment or something, right? And that women in the US or the West are somehow superior and able to see through the lies and deception, or I don't get it, but it seems pretty racist to me. Look, people around the world, they all are attracted to kind of the base things. Now, while a lot of guys are interested in going abroad, I'm from the US, so abroad to other places, right, such as Asia or where I'm at right now in Latin America, is simply because the women are feminine, they're beautiful, they're in touch with, their feminine nature. They're not overly entitled. They don't want to shame you or call you out on your sexual desires and your interests. They're perfectly willing to play the feminine role and let you take the masculine role, and that's a beautiful thing, I think, right? So that is the reason why guys such as myself and perhaps lots of other guys are interested in Asian or Latin American or non-North American women, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? In fact, I think it's healthy for the kind of global community, dating community, right? And just the you can't get laid in your own country thing is kind of ridiculous. I mean, like, I was getting laid in my country as well, in the US. I don't think it's particularly that different, right? So overall, I think this criticism is really weak and kind of racist, frankly. All right, number 3. It's manipulation. You're manipulating their minds, right? And this kind of, the implied belief here, of course, is that the man wins and the woman loses when people hook up, right? Which, of course, is a false premise because both sides win, right? Men like casual sex, women like casual sex, both like romance, dates, having fun, meeting cool people. So it's not like you're dragging her back against her will to your lair and she would never go unless you use the magical words or you're the Pied Piper rainbow penis man of just take out the rainbow penis and they just come walking back to your house. No, it's not like that, right? Obviously, these women that you're talking to are making a conscious decision to go with you, right? A conscious decision to give you their contact information. The attraction, the interest is mutual, okay? So people try to think, oh, it's manipulation, you shouldn't do that, right? Just be natural, just be normal, right? Why can't you just be normal, right? Which of course is a giant crock of shit. Women are in some ways the masters of manipulation, right? And to figure that out, look no further than Instagram, right? Or any sort of social media where people are using makeup, right? Getting plastic surgery, and only showing the absolute best parts of their life. Now, if that's not manipulation, then I really don't know what it is. It's portraying your image in a certain way. Now contrast that to what I teach, which is actually in a lot of ways stark honesty, right? Going forward, not trying to put on airs, not trying to put your best foot forward artificially, right? But make an honest, sincere attempt, with all the flaws that you may have, right? And owning that. And that's going to work much better than trying to provide a perfect picture, poster, billboard image of yourself and hoping that she just likes that, right? So there's no manipulation, really. I mean, there may have been certain types of pickup in the past that have been manipulation. I've known guys who have done sort of manipulative things, like going on, I don't know, Seeking Arrangements, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's a dating site for sugar daddies or for girls who want to get paid by older men, essentially. And go kind of lead girls on that they were going to pay them eventually, and then just kind of take them out on a date, hook up with them, and not pay them. And yeah, you could consider something like that manipulation. But think about this, man. Whatever guys are doing to manipulate, girls are doing tenfold, right? Women are extremely adept at getting what they want out of guys, right? And just to emphasize that point, just look at clubs, right, where girls get guys to buy them drinks and then just like walk away. I remember a girl who I met, and she was like, yeah, I like getting guys to buy me drinks and then I'll just kind of pour them in a bush or something, right? It's just power, right? It's just a power thing, right? That's manipulation, right? Or getting them to buy apartments, bags, houses, cars, whatever, right? Cabajos, the hostesses, they're really good at this kind of thing, right? Manipulating guys to part with their money. And in some ways it's a gray area because the guys are happy to do so, they're offering to do so, they're there of their own volition, right? And in that sense, I don't have any particular problem with the hostess or the nightlife industry in Japan, and nor do I have a problem with pickup, obviously. Because ultimately it's about free will, right? If that person wants to make the decision to go with you, right, fair play, right? And this kind of extends into anything, right? Sales or marketing, right? You might think it's manipulation, right? It's just knowing how to appeal to another human being, knowing how to give them what they desire, right? Which in our case, in the case of pickup, is a good time with somebody who's basically hygienic, somewhat normal, and can make her laugh or something like that, right? Make her laugh, make her relax, make her feel, take some stress off her mind, right? It's essentially a form almost of therapy. It's conversational therapy, and it works both ways, right? It works on her, right? So she's having a stressful day. You walk up to her, you offer her the gift of your conversation. You say, hey, look, like, you know, let's take a load off, right? Let's chat a little and have a spontaneous, beautiful, brief interaction, right? And see where it goes, right? And this might be a total change from her daily grind routine of office, home, family mart, office, home, you know? And she might be extremely grateful for that. And you'll see that. You'll get girls who will be like, after you talk to them, even just for a few minutes on the street, they'll message you. They'll be, oh, thank you so much for talking to me today. You know, it really, like, thanks so much, right? I never, you know, guys never talk to me on the street, and I always hope they do, right? Okay, so manipulation, obviously, it's a crock of shit. Number 4 is the common criticism is that you can't get high quality girls. You're only getting the sluts. You're only getting the sluts. The sluts that you can convince to take home with you. It's pretty ridiculous, I think. One of the things that if you get involved in pickup, that will kind of open your mind about this whole perspective is you realize that women are extremely good at being in the moment, right? And going with their emotions at that particular time, right? Now, with the sluts thing, yeah, of course you are going to get some sluts, right? It's just a fact of life, right? But you're going to get some girls who are totally just sweet, innocent girls, virgins, girls with one boyfriend in their life, right? So you get all types, and this is one of the reasons why I really like street game or day game in particular as opposed to night game, because night game is kind of a lot of sluttier girls, and this coming from somebody who actually I like and respect girls who are somewhat promiscuous. Am I going to make them my wife? Maybe not, but I do enjoy them because they tend to have a good time, right? But compared to nightlife, or during day game, right, during street approaches, which is my preference, there's just so many. You meet all kinds of women, right? All sorts of women with all different kinds of interests, right? Not just going out and drinking and clubbing, right? Which, fine, again, I enjoy those things as well, but you're gonna meet only that subset of people during nightlife, night game, right? During the daytime, you might meet more bookish types, girls who are off to the library studying to be a lawyer, or engineers who are drawing manga or something, right? People who have all sorts of different kinds of interests. They're only in the city for that particular day to go shopping or something, and you'd be really surprised at the kind of extremely sweet, pure-hearted, really, really nice girls that you're gonna meet, right? Through day game. You can meet them in other ways too, but anyway, and in terms of the quality, right? Quality is a weird way to talk about girls, but for me, high quality is, of course, good looking, right? Confident, aware, interested, knowing what she likes, right? Aware of new experiences, but for the most part, high quality, it's gonna mean something different to everybody, right? But in terms of having purely good physical appearance, you can definitely get very, 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 very high quality girls from day game. I would say more so than night game, although there's a lot in night game as well. And on top of that, a lot of people think it's kind of a packaged into this belief like, oh, I don't want just hookups. I want like a real girlfriend, a real solid girlfriend that I can date. Look, whatever you're looking for, you can find it, right? Whatever kind of girl, whatever kind of relationship you're looking for, you're interested, you're going to be able to find it through cold approach. I've had girlfriends for multiple years, and pretty much always since I've been in Japan, shortly after I arrived and figured out this cold approach thing, pretty much always had a girlfriend, a long-term girlfriend. Now, most of them know I'm sleeping around, and it's not really a big issue. So whatever you want, whatever you're looking for, you can find those kind of girls anywhere. But the important part is that you're not going to find them if you're not doing lots of approaches, because you just don't have a big sample size, right? So it's important to get out there, meet a lot of women, right? And then you'll be able to pick which ones you like. best out of it. And yes, a lot of them will be high quality, right? But in order to accomplish that, of course, you yourself also have to be high quality. Now, what does that mean? Well, you gotta get charismatic, get sociable, right? If you're a dude who's stuck in an IT job 10 hours a day, it might take some time, some practice, some work to increase your social intelligence, your ability to communicate, your ability to just riff and talk forever, right? You know, and it's a skill, just like anything else, right? You know, when I first started recording YouTube videos, I would write it all out and think about it a lot, and then record a bunch of different takes and cut them all together. And now I'm kind of able to just talk, right, and go through all the points that I want to go over with only having a very minimal outline. It's the same thing when you're in front of a chick, right? When you're with a girl, right, at the beginning, you're like, what's the next conversation topic? How am I going to talk to her? What am I going to say, right? And then after 100, 200, 300, 400, however many interactions, you're able to just talk and talk and talk, and everything just fits in place, everything is smooth, because you've done it all before, okay? So, can you get high quality girls through cold approach? Absolutely, absolutely. I would say it's the best way, actually, because on Tinder, on dating, online dating, they're swamped with dudes who are just, they're inundated with horny guys trying to hook up with them. At the nightclub, it's the same thing. Their shields are high. They're ready to go to war with these dudes and throw out the shit tests, right? But if you can rock up to a girl on the street, you're gonna be able to do well. All right. Other criticism, number 5, is that I have self-respect. I have self-respect. I have dignity. I wouldn't be caught doing something weird and creepy like talking to a girl that I like. God, that's so weird. I can't imagine being a well-adjusted member of society and talking to a girl. I just find these criticisms hilarious. But yeah, like for real, like all that person, that hypothetical hater person is trying to say is that they basically don't have the balls to do it themselves, right? You have dignity, which means that you're a little too attached to your own self-image. And to be fair, this is a problem that I myself had, right? I had an image of myself that I wanted to preserve, and that's why I had a hard time initially talking to women in public, in a environment where it's not socially acceptable to go up, you know, like in a bar or a club. It's everybody understands, look, you could get talked to by other people, right? It's a social environment. When you're walking on the street, people are not, you know, there's not that expectation, right? So this, I think, trips people up, messes people up a bit, especially if they have this self-image. They think of themselves as a good guy who works hard and follows the rules or whatever, right? But, you know, that self-image is not going to help you, right, in this area. So the dignity. I have dignity, right? I can't do a scummy behavior such as talking to a girl I like, right? And again, it is just about your self-image, right? And a lot of people have issues with this. Like, a lot of people couldn't cold call, right? Or a lot of people can't ask for what they want even, right? From a friend, right? They wouldn't be able to be like, hey, can I borrow this? Or hey, could I borrow $50, right? Like, they can't ask for something because they have too much of a self-image built up, right? So ultimately, I think that, like, this criticism, like, I guess in this weird way, it's almost like a self-admission, right, of their own fault, more than it is a criticism of the person who's doing the pickup, of me or whoever, right? You know, I can't do something creepy and I have dignity, right? You're like, well, yeah, maybe you should, like, work on that, right? Maybe you should work on that dignity, right? Be able to take life a little bit more lightly, right? Be able to be a little less intense, a little less crazy serious about everything, right? And just kind of go along and enjoy life as it happens, right? So yeah, being able to be spontaneous, being able to go after what you desire, being able to not worry too much about what other people think about you, these are incredibly important skills to have in game, in pickup, and in life. All right, now, the last one I want to mention is you can't do it you can do it, you can do it, but I can't because, right? So, oh, hey, Synapse, you know, it's great, you can pick up girls, but I can't do it because, like, I don't speak Japanese. right? Does that sound familiar? Or, oh, sit-ups is awesome, you can do this, but there's no way I could do it because, like I'm not tall like you. Sit-ups, it's amazing that you can go talk to girls on the street, but I could never do it because, I'm Asian American, right? People attach themselves onto these fixed characteristics, physical characteristics in other people or in themselves, and attribute the success to that, right? So they look at somebody and say, oh, he's rich, that's why he's doing well, or oh, he looks like a male model, that's why he's doing well, right? Whereas in reality, if you walked back and you lived their life, you would see there's a lot more ingredients to their success than just that you're focusing on, right? So if you ever find yourself focusing on something specific and physical, right? Whether it's like your wealth, like I'm not rich, I don't have a car, I don't have a house, I don't speak Japanese, I don't, I'm fat, I'm old, I'm bald, I'm like short, whatever it is, like all the kind of insecurities, the common male insecurities that pop up, just realize that like whatever you do as a person, right, and whatever you create yourself to be, right, whatever you work towards with your personality, with your life, with your health, with your fitness, with your fashion, with your skills, right, that's way more important than the fixed characteristics that you can't change, right? Because you can't change them, right? So focus on what you can change and you're gonna have a much better time. Imagine that all those beliefs that you have is just a voice inside your mind trying to pull you down, right? Trying to keep you comfortable. It's trying to make you take less risks. It's trying to look out for you, right? But it doesn't know what's best for you, right? Necessarily, right? Now, if you're a very fragile soul and you can't handle rejection, then yeah, maybe you better just stay at home and not even try. But if you actually do want to improve your life, you got to start buckling down and working on all those areas, right? It's just pretty much as simple as that. Like, don't focus on the things you can't control. Worry about what you can control and hammer that stuff out. Like, really work on it. All right, guys, that's it for today. It was a long one. Hope you guys liked it. Let me know your thoughts. Peace!